everyone, and welcome back to the Alpha Primus channel. Today we're going to be looking at Studio Series Leaderclass Grimlock from the Transformers 86 movie. Before that though, a little bit of housekeeping. First off, I want to thank everyone, new and old subscribers. Before the Onyx Prime review, I had 277 subscribers. I now have 475. Massive thank you. That is also one of my most successful videos ever. Before that, it was Magmatron and Tidal Wave, about 8,000 each. Onyx Prime is currently sitting at just over 18,000 views. Fantastic. Before Onyx turned up, I was like, oh, I think I'll aim for 300 subscribers. And if I can't get 300 subscribers by the end of the year, I might knock this on the head. With Nathan sort of waning on it now, I was like, I'll keep going a little bit more, see if I can make it grow myself. And I mean, thankfully for Onyx, then yeah, I've now smashed that target. I'm now going to carry on the channel regardless of my next target, which is now 500. So I think it's 27 subscribers if my maths is right there. 500 take away 475, which is where I'm at the moment. Yeah. Sorry, 25 subscribers. Yes, but yeah, and that was it. I'm 27. I was 2 away from being 200 subscribers more. That was it. Anyway, so in between new releases, I'm looking at doing Throwback Thursdays again. Me and Nathan started doing them. Again, he started like, oh, I don't want, because he's very into playing his video games at the moment. He loves collecting his Transformers still. And that's another thing. This is his collection. So not everything in this collection is stuff that I mean, a lot of it, like, I will show him and go, oh, look at this is really, really cool. And he'll agree. However, there is times, for example, Star Optimus Prime, where I go, and he goes, no, that's really cool, Dad. And it's like, right, well, it's your collection. So that's why we got it. I personally wouldn't have got Star Optimus Prime, but Nathan's like, no, he looks really cool, and I want all the Primes. Anyway, so he just doesn't really want to do a lot of these videos because he's really into playing his video games at the moment. And the cat is about to jump up, so he might join us. One sec. No, he's debating it. Anyway, so obviously, you know, to keep the content going and keep me in the algorithm and all that, and, you know, there he is. This is Simba, guys. Say hello, Simba. Just move so you can see him there. Yeah. I was going to say size comparisons, but it's a bit early for that part in the video. But cat for comparison. So yeah, it's one of those where this sort of thing is sort of like to show, just keep the content going, and I can take a bit more time with these guys. Anyway, the cat's put me on. Yeah. Another thing, my reviews are janky. I'm not going to pretend they're not. I'm not trying to make a living from this. I'm just doing these for fun, and because you guys seem to like some of my videos. I do have some dislikes, but that doesn't bother me. I've got a lot more likes and dislikes. So yeah. Anyway, next thing. So on my Onyx Prime video, both Macebug171 and Shockwave K6T noticed I had mistransformed Megatronus. Cat. It's thrown down. Anyway, so, and to be fair, neither of them were rude about it. Sometimes when you mistransform something and you get comments on videos, you get very rude people. And I just tend to ignore them. They weren't very rude. In fact, they were quite opposite. And it gave me the inspiration to come up with a game. A spot the mistransformation game. So in all my throwback videos and in some of my normal reviews, there will be one transformer. Probably not the transformer I'm transforming or showing off. In maybe the size comparisons who will be mistransformed. Deliberately, and it will be a case of, it's like a Where's Wally thing. Can you spot the mistransformation. If you do, put a little time tag in and say, and what we'll do is that we'll have a little competition between the community. Who can spot it first. If you spot it first, you get 2 points. If you spot it but you're not first, you get a point. And if you find another mistransformation that if you spot another thing that you think I've mistransformed and it's unintentional and someone else backs it up, that's another point. And what I'll do on each video is I'll do a little table. So I'm actually gonna review a load of figures now in a batch because the boys are away, so I've not got much else to do. So I'm literally in the house by myself, apart from the cat and the dog. I'm looking after a dog as well. So I'm going to batch film a few of these, but I'm not going to do the intros. And what I'll do on the intros is that I will shout out anyone who noticed, the mistransformations on the last video, and I'll put like a little table up as well, and we'll keep track, and it'll be a little bit of a competition between you guys in the community. Just something a little bit different. It's like a Where's Wally sort of thing. Anyway, with that, I'm going to shift the cat, and we're going to get onto this bad boy. So let's start off with, his Dino Mode. He's already transformed. This is Nathan's preferred mode. So all his Dinobots are on a little shelf all together, and they're all transformed into their Dino Modes. And yeah, I think you did see him mostly in this mode anyway. So this is like the default mode for me as well, if I'm being honest. He spent more time in Dino Mode than he did really in Bot Mode. I don't know. I have absolutely no evidence for that. That's just my feeling. Whenever I saw him, he was mostly in Dinobot mode. So that's a good place to start. The reason why I'm starting with Grimlock in all this is because, one, you can get the G2 version right now. I know this guy was an absolute pain to get hold of, and for a while, hopefully not now, was an absolute bomb on the aftermarket. We were really, really lucky we got him the first time around. And he's getting a re-release around at the same time as, I say it's the same time as 86 Megatron, but he seems to be available now. But yeah, he is in that wave. So, I thought this might be a good time to sort of like get in there so people can look and be like, oh yeah, this is that, I definitely want this guy. Or if you're not, I suppose if you're definitely getting him, you don't need to see the review, but it's nice to know what you're getting. And if you're still unsure, I would highly recommend it. I know I believe all the Dinobots are going to get re-released, and so they should. They're just too good. I mean, look at this guy now. Look at that face. It just, the only way that this could get more G1 is being very plain in that sense, and maybe the colours being a bit lighter and that not being metallic. I like screen. Now I cannot say this word now for this screen accurate. I love screen accurate stuff. And this is, this is not 100%. They could make it more, but they don't need to. I wouldn't rush out and get a new version of this. I like this. I think it's the comic version is kind of what I would say if they did the comic version. I think because that's a bit more plain, isn't it? I can't remember now off the top of my head. Anyway, but then the detail makes him. It gives him character, doesn't it? Like just little things. I like the metallic, and he's just a really, really cool looking. The second you see him, you're like, that's Grimlock. That is Grimlock. He's not a super, realistic looking dinosaur. None of the Dinobots were. That was the beauty of him. But so it's quite easily, that is Grimlock. I like the fact that his mouth, when it opens, it is blast effect compatible. We do like our blast effects here on this channel. Let me just pull back a little bit. There we go. Yeah, look at that. That just very, very Dinobot on brand. So now let's move on to articulation. Having a look at articulation, we have a articulated neck. His head can look up and down, look up. Doesn't really look down past this. This is about as far as it goes in terms of looking down, but it can look up pretty well. His head can turn 360. We've got that. So his arms are on a ball joint. They're a ball joint arm, so they can go 360. This happens all the time. My one has come a bit loose over the years. I don't know what other people's original copies are like. Hopefully they're not as what's it as this one. As you can see, we have elbow articulation, nothing at the wrist anywhere out, but you know, again, it's one of those where he was always limited by his sort of like size and stuff like that anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, oh no, stop, help me. His leg can go all the way out and it can do a 360. He has a swivel at the thigh, just below there, and really good knee articulation. And when he then goes down, and we have a bit of toe articulation as well. That's it in terms of articulation, but do you know what? You can get him in some really cool poses. So it's not, I don't know. It's limited in some ways, but then this is only his alt mode. You know, his actual bot mode articulation is much better, but we will get onto that in a few minutes. Let's have a look at size comparisons. For our first comparison, we have him with Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime. Bringing in Earthrise Optimus Prime, just to show you a little bit of a comparison here between the two Primes in Grimlock. I think the Studio Series 1 looks a bit better. Here he is with Kingdom Commander Class Rodimus Prime. Here he is with Age of the Primes Superion. For a little fun comparison, here he is with Titan Class Tripticon. This is the Age of the Primes version. Here he is with Studio Series Sludge, Studio Series Slug, Studio Series Snarl, and last but by no means least, Studio Series Swoop. Before I do move on to transformation, I just want to ask you guys, and let me know in the comments below, are you bothered about transformation? I know I can be really, really janky on it. So it's one of those where you can either, I'd want to know your opinion on whether I should keep the janky transformation videos in or just cut them. You know, if you're like, I'm not bothered, I just want to see the bot mode, the alt mode, the articulation, side comparisons, that's enough for me. Let me know. And if you're like, no, you know, as janky as it might be, I like seeing the transformation as well, you know, then please let me know, because this guy's not too bad, but I've just transformed the other Dinobots for size comparison, and they're not too bad going from dinosaur to bot mode. But I actually am re-recording this because I did it yesterday, and I did the opposite where I transformed one to robot mode first, then into dinosaurs, and it was an absolute pain doing Sludge and Snarl. Sludge took me the longest. It took me like 10 minutes because it was just so fiddly, and I'm thinking, how could I ever do this on camera? I want to review Sludge, but I also am like, how on earth am I going to do this on camera? It is that, and bearing in mind I am already janky as it is. So let me know in the comments below, you know, if it's like, no, we want it, we love the jank, we love janky transformation. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be I'm going to be like all over the place and doing all this. If you're happy with that, I will keep them in. If you're like, no, you can leave the jank out, everything else is pretty cool, just leave that out, then let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'll do that. Anyway, moving on to this guy's transformation. So when I did him yesterday, I did the top half first, which was a mistake. So I'm going to do the bottom half first, which is, if you take him around to the back, we have his tail and his legs. So let's just pull them apart, bring them back around here like so. See, again, I did him from robot into dinosaur mode, and it was a bit easier doing it this way. So we pull back his legs and pull them out a little bit. He's got a nice ratchet joint. You then take this part here and you just fold it in on itself. So like this, and it fits in there. Lovely. Look at that. Look how sweet that looks. Let's do the same for the other side. And this is another reason why I don't like doing this, because this one, much like some other parts, just gets a bit old and it just seems to fall off really, really easy. Do you know what? It probably would have been easier going from Dino Bot to robot mode. Let's just move this. That'd be better if I moved him like that. There we go. So once then, you have like these clips here and a little notch there, so they really clip in there. You can then close up his leg, fold out his heels, and his heels have a tab there, so you know you've got it right when all that goes into. And look at that. He looks like a little short ass. And there he is, he's transformed. No, he's not. Right, okay, so next we're going to pull back the head, open this up, and yeah, just put them up. I like having them like that. Let's pull his head up, bring him back, and then we bring this chest piece. Oh, look at that. Now, he's already gone from like looking really, really short to looking really, really tall, just by lifting up his chest. Right. Now, oh, and we click that into place. And now the tricky part on it, I can always get one side of them out, but not the other. This side is normally the side that I can do really, really easily. This is what happens when you don't have nails. Oh my days. One sec, guys. There we go, guys. I've done the same on the other side as well. This is the importance of making sure the fists are the right way when you're transforming it, because they can get stuck. Okay, so we then turn at the bicep here. So then his elbow joint can... there we go. And we can turn his hand upside down. Again, turn it around. So his elbow joint can go up. And you can turn his hand around. Just adjust the wings however you want them. And there we have Grimlock in bot mode. So before we get into him in bot mode, let's have a quick look at his accessories. So in the box, the only accessory you sort of get is this very molded and not very articulated wheelie. Obviously from the 86 movie and that famous scene where he's on the back of Grimlock and he's firing energon pellets, I think, whatever they are, energon stones at Sharkticons. And he also uses it against Grimlock. He mostly sits on Grimlock when he's in Dino mode, but I suppose you could sit him on the back of his head there. Obviously, there is a core class, I'm tempted to say. Or is it deluxe class? I know there is a wheelie out there. I didn't get that one. We're not that bothered about that. I might actually look it up and see how much it is. And if it's really, really cheap, I might say to Nathan, what do you think? If not, this is perfectly serviceable. Of course, one thing he didn't come with, which he kind of needs, is his sword. However, as you see, we do have Swoop, who came with said sword. So let's give it him in his right hand. And this is, here it is. And in fact, let's have a quick look at it. It's just one colour, quite plain really, but it is his sword. He has one more accessory. I completely forgot. He comes with a gun. A double barrel gun. That is very on brand for Grimlock, isn't it? Big and bulky. And yeah, that obviously fits in his hand perfectly. But yeah, that is King Grimlock. I might actually 3D print him a crown. Yeah, I might 3D print his crown and do that at some point. But yeah, that is Grimlock and all of his accessories. So, moving on. And whilst I prefer Grimlock in his Dino mode. This mode is fantastic as well. This is like, I think the Studio Series Dinobots will be the go-to, or the standard, should I say. I know that there was like Titan Return ones and stuff like that could combine, which is pretty cool. If they found some sort of way of redoing these, but they could combine, that would be amazing. But I think they should just reissue these guys. I think they're just too good, and they look absolutely perfect. I mean, look at that head sculpt. Just wonderful. I love the gold. I like the colours. Grimlock tends to stand out a bit more than the other Dinobots due to the fact that he is such a brightly coloured guy. You know, he's got the little bits breaking up here. He's got the green, the red, and the blue. He's got the gold. And it just all sort of goes... I don't know. It's so hard to describe how much I love this guy. Grimlock is definitely one of my favourite characters. Some of the lines that comes out of the 86 movie are amazing. Grimlock's New Brain is one of my favourite episodes, as well as Call the Primitives. That is, out of season 3, Call the Primitives is one of my absolute favourite Transformers episodes. I think it's such a cool episode. I know it's a bit law-breaking, you know, that and all that stuff, and I'm not really fussed about that. But the episode itself with all the animal ones, it's great. Speaking of which, I'm actually showing Nathan. We're actually watching all 3 seasons of Transformers, and we're going to review them or do like a tier list sort of thing of like our favourite episodes and stuff like that. Anyway, back to this Grimlock. Yeah, he is a fantastic looking figure. I think he's definitely, he's one of the reasons. As soon as I saw him when he was on sale, I was like, I have to get Grimlock. You know, he just, words fail me. Words fail me. So in that case, because of that, I'm going to move on to articulation. So now time for my final thoughts. Grimlock was our first Dinobot, and he is by far one of my favourites. And I highly recommend to anyone who doesn't have him in his collection, whether you intend to collect all the Dinobots or not, he is definitely a must-have. Like I said, he is being reissued, so don't sleep on this guy. I would pre-order him as soon as you can, because he is an absolute fantastic beast of a figure. And yeah, so that's it for this review. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you spotted the mistransformation. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.